You were never meant to fit in because you were born to stand out. Today the world finds out exactly why, divine ones. Have you ever felt like the world doubted you, misunderstood you, or tried to downplay your purpose? What happens when the quiet soul finally roars? There was a woman named Elina, always the odd one out. People whispered when she entered the room. Teachers overlooked her. Friends betrayed her. But Elina knew something deep in her spirit. I was made for something greater. After years in the shadows, she created a movement that restored broken families, brought healing to communities, and opened spiritual eyes worldwide, all because she dared to rise and show the world who was boss. Her silence was never weakness, it was the preparation for her divine eruption. Divine ones, the world has played checkers while you were mastering spiritual chess. The day of the chosen has come. The humble have become heroes, the outcasts have become oracles, and the underestimated are now the undeniable. As Marianne Williamson once said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. What if I told you the world just stepped into a season where the veil is lifting, the spotlight is shifting, and the chosen ones are rising to command? Would you be ready to see how you are part of this spiritual revolution? Stay with me till the end, divine ones, because today we lay it out. The 7 undeniable ways the chosen ones have shaken the world to its core and shown who's really running things. Point 1. Their silence was their strategy. They called you shy, awkward, antisocial. Some even mistook you for invisible. But Earth Angel, let's get one thing straight. You weren't silent because you had nothing to say. You were silent because you were listening. You weren't lost, you were being led. While the world turned up the volume chasing followers, fame and filters, you turned inward. And guess what? That silence, that was divine strategy. Not weakness, not timidity. No, that was spiritual warfare in stealth mode. See, silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Neuroscience even backs this up. Studies show that silence actually stimulates brain growth, particularly in the hippocampus, aka the memory and learning zone. So while others were loud, you were literally expanding your mind, tapping into divine downloads and evolving in ways unseen. Like a lioness crouched in the grass, you waited, watched, understood. Because wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers. You became a master of spiritual kung fu. You let folks underestimate you while you healed generational trauma, decoded toxic patterns, and aligned your soul with God's timing. And the world had no idea the storm that was quietly building inside you. You weren't the quiet one, you were the called one. Now that you're moving in peace, it's unsettling to people who still live in chaos. Your calm exposes their noise. Your obedience to God's whisper is now shouting from the rooftops through your energy, your boundaries, your glow up. People can't figure out what changed, but you know the truth. It started the moment you stopped explaining yourself and started listening to God. Even Jesus, the literal Son of God, spent 30 years in quiet preparation before shaking the entire planet in just 3. Let that sink in. If heaven's MVP took time to marinate in the silence, why wouldn't you? And let's be real, you were that quiet kid in the back of class everyone ignored, and now you're out here parting spiritual seas like Moses, probably wondering if you should start charging for Red Sea tours. Step right up. Watch me make demons flee with a whisper and part generational curses before lunch. So remember, Divine One, silence wasn't your pause, it was your power loading. And now, it's go time. Point 2, they tried to bury you, but you were a seed. Divine ones gather round because this isn't just motivation. It's spiritual truth wrapped in divine irony. You see, when they ghosted you, gossiped about you, and slammed doors in your face, they thought they were ending your story. But here's the plot twist they never saw coming. You weren't being buried, you were being planted, and not just in any soil, but in sacred, consecrated, cosmic soil. The kind that doesn't just grow anything, it grows chosen ones. You grew in silence, where nobody clapped. You bloomed in storms while they whispered your name with judgment in their mouths. But like seeds in nature, you didn't need an audience, you needed pressure. Botanists have confirmed that certain seeds must crack open under dark, cold, and uncomfortable conditions before they can sprout. Isn't that wild? That spiritual discomfort, that isolation, it wasn't punishment, it was the divine prep room. And now, you're blossoming, you're standing tall in your purpose, radiating with clarity, bearing fruit that others can't deny. And the best part? Those same folks who laughed at your silence, your discipline, your sacred solitude, They're now feasting on the wisdom, strength, and power that grew from your pain. Oh yes, they're quoting you, watching you, following your every move, but they'll never admit it. They don't realize the very shade they threw was necessary for your photosynthesis. Yes, darling, even science backs it up. Plants require darkness and light. You needed that rejection to activate your roots. And here's your spiritual truth bomb. What they sent to destroy you was secretly watering you. Every betrayal, a rain cloud, every lie, a gust of wind to shake your weak branches, every closed door, a redirect to your divine greenhouse. You are not just a survivor, you are a living parable, living proof that divine timing trumps human scheming. Your story is cosmic poetry, with every heartbreak a line break, every loss a comma, not a period. Because the author of your life wasn't finished yet. So let them whisper. Let them wonder. Just smile and keep growing. Because they thought they were ending you. But all they really did was help the garden grow. Point 3, they thought you were too different. That was the point. From your fashion to your faith, from your thoughts to your energy, you never fit their mold. And that's exactly the point. See, in a world addicted to sameness, your difference is divine. You weren't born to echo trends or replicate the noise. You were sent to shift the entire frequency of the room just by walking in. That thing you thought made you weird, it's your wiring. It's not a flaw, it's your spiritual fingerprint. Divine ones, you're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to awaken the few who have eyes to see. Think about this. The prophets, the mystics, the game changers of history, none of them were normal. Joan of Arc wore armor when girls were told to wear aprons. Nikola Tesla spoke to lightning while others just feared storms. Jesus flipped tables in temples and ate with outcasts. So why would you expect your path to be polished, pretty, or predictable? You are disruptive by design. That awkwardness you carry, it's holy, that intensity in your eyes. It's purpose burning. God didn't call you to conformity. He called you to be a contrast, like a candle in the dark. Like salt in a sugar world, like thunder on a clear day. You're meant to interrupt patterns. Your presence alone causes spiritual static in spaces that thrive on surface-level living. You carry divine codes in your soul that unlock healing, truth, and awakening. That's why some people are drawn to you while others can't stand you. It's the spirit in you that reveals the spirit in them. Now here's the funny twist. They said, why can't you just be normal? And you, sipping your herbal tea and minding your chakra alignment, replied, because I'm chosen, not common. Period. While they were busy chasing clout, you were cultivating character. While they were building cliques, you were building inner peace. You are a walking contradiction to the status quo, and thank God for it. So stop trying to tone down your truth. Stop shrinking to make the crowd comfortable. You weren't sent to blend in, you were sent to blaze through. Keep being the beautiful, baffling, bold energy that you are. You didn't come to this earth to follow the script, you came to rewrite it. Point 4. Their attacks only sharpened you. Let's talk about it. No sugarcoating, the disrespect, the backstabbing, the lies. The moments you looked someone in the eye, trusted them with your soul, and they turned around and handed you a blade for your back. It wasn't fair, it wasn't right, but oh, divine one, it was fuel. You see, life doesn't always hand you blessings wrapped in velvet. Sometimes it throws you in the furnace so you come out forged in glory. What they meant for harm became your harvest. Every tear you cried watered the roots of your growth. And that pain, that wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Each betrayal taught you discernment. You don't walk through life blindly anymore. You see through masks, hear the lie behind the smile, feel the energy behind the words. Every heartbreak rewired your soul to beat stronger, steadier, truer. You're not walking around bitter, you're built. There's steel in your spirit now. Your strength isn't loud, it's lived. You learned that survival isn't just about making it through the storm, it's about dancing in the rain with joy still in your heart. And your spiritual weapon? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. That's not just scripture, that's your soundtrack. That's what played silently in the background every time they threw stones and you built a palace with them. Every time they tried to curse you, it bounced off your anointing like water on oil. The verse became a vibration you live in. You were divinely covered when you didn't even know you were under attack. Now let's laugh a little, because if we don't, we'll cry. You've gone through so much that even Job from the Bible would slide over and say, "Woo, I thought I had it rough." You've become a living meme of resilience. One day, folks will read about you in the book of Overcomers, right after Job and Joseph. So no, it wasn't fair, but it was faithful. Every trial refined your soul. Every test became testimony. They tried to break you, but God used it to make you. You are a walking miracle with receipts. Stand tall. The fire didn't destroy you, it revealed you. Point 5, they watched, but never understood. People studied your life like a riddle wrapped in stardust, like a silent movie they couldn't decode. No matter how many times they hit rewind, on the surface you were just you. Maybe quiet, maybe quirky, maybe the one who slipped out of the room just when the energy turned fake. But underneath, oh divine one, you were a force cloaked in mystery, powered by heaven's own algorithm. They watched you with wide eyes, whispering in corners, because while they saw you, your clothes, your smile, your daily moves, they never truly saw you. Your spirit, uncrackable, your purpose, unmistakably divine, and your glow, that wasn't highlighter, baby, that was holy fire. You used to be in the mix, dancing to the world's tune, showing up to spaces that didn't feed your soul. But then something shifted. They noticed it. First it was your absence, then your silence, then your peace. She's acting different, they said. Oh no, Angel, you weren't acting, you were becoming. Becoming the version of you that God whispered about in the womb. Your energy began to repel the petty, the fake, the chaotic. You stopped entertaining rooms where your light had to dim to fit. And while they were busy trying to label your distance as pride or sadness, they missed the sacred truth. Your source changed. Your GPS became divine. You weren't lost, you were led. It baffled them. You glowed even when life threw storms your way. You smiled when others would have snapped. You elevated when the world expected you to fold. Why? Because your strength wasn't self-manufactured. It came from alignment. Your soul was tuned into a higher frequency, and your journey started making less and less sense to those running on ego-based navigation. Spiritual gold, they call it. The kind of internal wealth that no status or title can touch. And let's keep it real. Your glow-up had folks secretly Googling how to be a chosen one. But even Google tapped out. It said, that's a divine download only. See, the chosen path is encrypted. Only the ones with the code, the calling, can walk it. And while they watch in awe, confused by your peace and purpose, you just keep walking, radiating, knowing your route was never meant to be public, only sacred. Point 6, their rejection was your redirection. Woo. Let's get real for a moment, Earth Angel. You've been through some storms, haven't you? Doors slammed shut so hard you could feel the echo rattle your soul. Rejection letters, unanswered prayers, people walking away without warning. It felt like life was hitting decline every time you tried to call for a breakthrough. But what if I told you that every no was heaven's GPS, rerouting you to a divine destination you couldn't even imagine? Let's go deeper. There's a spiritual technology at work in your life, and it doesn't operate on earthly algorithms. See, when man says, not you, God whispers, watch this. The job you didn't land, it wasn't a failure, it was divine filtration. God was removing distractions, setting the stage for your real purpose. The relationship that ended in betrayal, that wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You were being refined, not rejected. And just like gold has to endure intense fire to shine, you too had to walk through disappointment so your spirit could rise resilient. Here's a little cosmic fact. Most successful spiritual leaders, prophets, and visionaries weren't born into comfort. They were broken, shaped, and forged in the quiet corners of rejection and misunderstanding. Even biblical giants like Joseph were thrown into pits before they stepped into palaces. That's not coincidence, that's divine curriculum. So let's sprinkle in some witty wisdom, shall we? You didn't lose, boo, you leveled up. You're out here glowing like a phone on 100%, while the people who counted you out are stuck in the group chat of regrets. They're buffering in bitterness while you're streaming blessings on high speed. This isn't just encouragement, it's empowerment. Your path is sacred. You're not wandering, you're being escorted by divine timing. Don't let closed doors fool you. They weren't rejections, they were redirections. God had a palace in mind when you were crying over the shack that collapsed. And now, you're being upgraded silently, powerfully, and divinely. So lift your chin, Earth Angel, wipe your tears, straighten your crown. The palace is coming, and you won't need to knock. God already has your name on the guest list. Stay grounded, stay grateful, and trust the reroute. Point 7. They realize now you were the light all along. Divine ones, here's the final point. And it's not just deep, it's divine. It's the moment your spirit has been waiting for, the unveiling of a truth so powerful it couldn't stay hidden forever. You were never just passing through life unnoticed. You were the light in the room, the quiet current of peace in a sea of unrest, the steady wisdom in a world drunk on noise. But your light didn't flash or boast, it glowed. You didn't shout your value, you embodied it. And because of that holy humility, they overlooked you. Not because you weren't worthy, but because their eyes weren't ready, until now. See, this isn't a glow-up. This is a divine reveal. The kind where heaven's spotlight hits you not because you craved attention, but because your mission couldn't be muted anymore. The world can't ignore you now, not because you raised your voice, but because your vibration got too high to be ignored. That's elevation, not ego. You didn't rise to be worshipped. You rose to wake people up. Your presence is now prophetic. Your steps are guided. Your words carry weight, and your silence, whew, louder than ever. This isn't about showing off. It's about showing up as who you truly are. You are walking confirmation that God uses the humble, the hidden, and the often overlooked to shake entire dimensions. Remember the scripture, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You were never meant to blend in. You were crafted to stand out, not in arrogance, but in alignment. And let's be real for a second. While they were busy decoding trends, you were out here downloading truth. They thought you were slow to shine, but really you were just waiting on God's timing. Now you're operating on spiritual Wi-Fi, moving with divine updates, sipping anointed tea while prophecy brews in real time. So no, you didn't just show them who's boss. You reminded them who sent you, and now they're scrambling to catch up while you're already walking in purpose, dripping in peace and laughing with angels. You weren't called to be liked, Divine One. You were chosen to lead. Divine Ones, you were never meant to be average. You were chosen, appointed, and anointed for such a time as this. The day the world saw your truth was the day everything shifted. You didn't ask for a spotlight. You became the light. So keep rising, keep shining, keep showing them, not with pride, but with purpose, who the boss really is. Because when a chosen one walks in alignment, the whole universe adjusts. Stay awake on your spiritual journey. The world's watching, yes. But more importantly, heaven is smiling. Keep going, comment, I'm chosen and I know it, and share this with a fellow divine one who's about to show the world who's boss. You already won.